This is Greg Kelly. Donate now to Toys for Tots, which works year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program. Established in 2008, it has provided over 63 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi!
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
You are now diving headlong into the deep end of the Stone Zone. You know, there are moments in life of a republic when the veil slips, when the carefully curated facade of institutional integrity gives way to something far more unsettling. The raid on then former President and current President Donald J. Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate was one of those examples. This was not a mere law enforcement action. This was a rupture. And now documents have been uncovered that reveal even within the FBI, there were grave doubts about the legal foundation for that extraordinary intrusion, doubts that were brushed aside by Joe Biden's Department of Justice, determined to proceed. At the heart of the matter lies Plasmic Echo. That's the code name for the FBI's secret investigation into Trump's alleged mishandling of presidential documents. Now, the Presidential Records Act essentially allows a current or former president to declassify and retain any document. So one wonders what this entire case was really about. And now, according to internal communications recently uncovered, the FBI's Washington field office explicitly stated that it did not believe that probable cause existed to justify a search warrant for Mar-a-Lago. Now let that sink in for a moment. The agents on the ground, the professionals entrusted with the solemn responsibility of safeguarding our constitutional rights, concluded that the legal threshold had not been met for the raid on Mar-a-Lago. Yet the Department of Justice pressed forward regardless, culminating in an unprecedented raid on the home of a former president. Having had my own home raided by the FBI, having FBI agents go through my wife's underwear drawer the same way they went through First Lady Melania Trump's, I can understand the feeling of violation that the president and his wife must have felt. Now, one is compelled to ask, since when does the absence of probable cause become a mere inconvenience? These bombshell internal emails from mid-July of 2020 reveal that the FBI personnel questioned the justification for searching not only Trump's residence broadly, but even specific areas such as his bedroom and his office. Concerns were raised about the distinction between boxes of documents and genuinely classified material, as well as the recency of the alleged issues. These were not fringe objections. They were formal, now documented, and emphatic. And still, the Biden Department of Justice moved forward. Even more damning is the revelation that FBI officials repeatedly proposed less confrontational alternatives. They suggested contacting Trump or his legal counsel directly. They floated the possibility of a consensual search. They even recommended seeking a renewed referral from the National Archives. Each of those options, which would have preserved both the dignity of the office and the integrity of the law, was brushed aside. They were all rejected. Why? That's because this entire investigation, part of Arctic Frost, was an extra-constitutional effort to get Donald Trump. On August 4th, 2022, email provides more chilling evidence. A senior FBI official expressed concern over the DOJ's handling of pre-search communications, quoting a Department of Justice official who said, frankly, I don't give a damn about the optics. Such cavalier disregard for the perception of justice is not merely unseemly. To me, it seems corrosive. Justice must not only be done, it must be seen to be done. When those entrusted with this execution dismiss optics entirely, they invite the very suspicious that now engulfs this entire case. The origins of this investigation are now equally revealing. Plasmic Echo, you wonder who comes up with these names, was opened as a sensitive investigative matter, or SIM, on February 11, 2022, following coordination between FBI headquarters, the Deputy Director, the Office of General Counsel of the FBI, and the Department of Justice. Among those involved were senior counterintelligence division officials. You see, by declaring this a SIM, a sensitive investigative matter, they were able to keep it all secret. Yet what catalyzed this extraordinary mobilization of federal power? Not solely internal deliberations, but external agitation. There's actually a letter from an activist organization, Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. By the way, they always are engaged in the exact opposite of what their name says. This is Norm Eisen's left-wing quasi-legal group that was agitating for the removal of Donald Trump under the fake Russian collusion hoax. But their letter somehow got routed directly to the case file and was acted upon within days. The implication here is unmistakable. Left-leaning advocacy groups were not merely spectators, but they were actually participants in the genesis of a federal investigation targeting a former president. That's a very dangerous precedent. Compounding those concerns were indications of media entanglements. Months before the raid, a reporter from the Washington Post sought confirmation for a tip that he got that the FBI had begun interviewing individuals within Trump's orbit about his retention of presidential documents. The inquiry was logged by the FBI's Public Affairs Office, underscoring the extent to which the investigation had already seeped or been injected into the press ecosystem. Whether through leaks or strategic disclosures, the narrative was already being shaped in real time. In the dissonance that is most striking, on one hand, field agents raised legitimate legal concerns about probable cause. On the other hand, the senior leadership projecting unwavering confidence in the propriety of their actions. This is not merely a difference of opinion, it's a chasm. Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton said it best today: the FBI and the Justice Department must go all out to release the nearly 2 million secret FBI and DOJ files on the lawfare against President Trump and whatever else the Obama and Biden gangs don't want the American people to know. And therein lies the ultimate question. If the process was as pristine as the defenders claim, why the resistance to full transparency? Why are these documents still classified and sealed? Why the hesitation to allow the American people to examine in exhaustive detail what actions were taken that justified the raid on a former president's home? In a constitutional republic, power must answer to the people. And when it doesn't, when it cloaks itself in secrecy while dismissing its own internal warnings, it ceases to be a guardian of liberty and becomes something else entirely, something far more dangerous. We'll be following this question extraordinarily carefully.
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Why is the middle class shrinking? Why are people facing an affordability crisis while marginalized individuals called informals grow in numbers? Join me as I travel the world, speaking with people living in invisibility, the leaders working to solve it, and uncovering the hard truths shaping our economy and daily reality.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.